Hello everyone, and thank you for stopping by. Today we have another video. This one is just going to be a real basic, real simple, real easy landscape we're doing in oils. And I'm sketching it out right now. What I'm doing is the next several videos I'm going to do, I'm not going to have any kind of plan as far as I'm not going to have photo reference. It's not going to be a place I visited. I'm just going to do whatever's in my head. I'm going to sketch it out here like I'm doing with French Ultramarine, watered down pretty good with my Walnut Alkyd Medium, so it's, real liquidy like this. Just kind of putting in the areas that I'm going to have as I go, okay? This is totally imagination, totally just whatever. And sometimes you can get some real beautiful dynamic compositions. Sometimes you get something really nice and basic. And this time, as I'm going, I'm really just shooting for the basic. I wanted something really simple and easy to do. I didn't want anything really complicated. So I got a nice little hills here. These mountains aren't really going to be mountains. They're more like just little hills. There's one right behind the little shack on the right. There's one going to be behind a bunch of trees on the left, so you can barely see anything. And then the one in the middle is going to have, the one I'm painting right now, is going to have the detail on it, the highlights and stuff, so you'll be able to see it. But it's still not anything massive. It's a little bigger than the little shack we have there, but it's not, the Rocky Mountains, anything like that. Just, a nice cluster of, hills that are, 100 feet tall or something, nothing major. And then I'm putting in the back now. I'm using the same colors, which is burnt umber, phthalo green, alizarin crimson, and French ultramarine to get that nice dark color. And then I'm using the same ones, but just a lot more white. And then it's grayed it down like that. And I'm going to do the same thing on the right-hand side, too, because I want them pretty faint on the wings. And then I want the middle ones to be dark because they're going to be the ones that are forward. I hope everybody had a good weekend. I apologize that this is coming out on Monday instead of Sunday like I normally do. But we had a really busy weekend, and I didn't have a chance. The first time I got to take a breath on the weekend was Sunday about 9 o'clock at night, getting ready to go to bed for work, pretty soon after that. So I decided I was going to do the videos today. And I got on a roll, too. I took 3 different videos today that I'm going to be uploading here. I don't know if I'm going to do them one a day or one every couple days or what, but I was able to get some really good work done today. And I look forward to getting them up online and seeing what everybody thinks of them. Okay, here I am making everything dark again. I already told you what that mixture is. And you notice how I got them real light and gray on the sides. And like I said, that's just mainly to make sure that they're not, competing with each other. And here I am just adjusting my little hills. I want them a little bit bigger than what the sketch initially laid out. And that's one of the great things about oil paint is you can pretty much change it as you go while it's still wet. Right now I'm using a few of the Griffin Alkyd Medium oil paints from Winsor Newton. And I'm also using some of the Lucas 1862 oil paint. Both are artist quality. The Griffin are the Alkyd Medium, like I said, so they're going to dry overnight. The Lucas 1862 usually dries relatively quick, even though they're not an Alkyd Medium. They have beeswax, and they dry a little quicker. And this whole thing will probably be touch dry, probably within 2 days, 3 at the absolute latest. And then I'll be able to varnish it probably, a couple months later. And then I'm just fishing up the shack here a little bit. It's nothing that you're really going to live in, but it's something that, if you want to go out and go fishing or whatever, it's a nice little shelter and place that you can sleep at night and get up in the morning and go fishing in the river that's right in front of it. These are background trees. You can tell I'm pushing them pretty hard into the canvas, and the reason I'm doing that is to make them a little more faint. I don't want them to be that pronounced. I apologize if you hear any outside noises. I got my windows open today. It's 71 degrees in the western suburbs of Chicago today. So even though it's in the evening now, it's still gorgeous outside. So I had to have the windows open where I'm in my office where I'm doing this video over voiceover. Okay, if you noticed, I haven't done the sky yet until now. And there it is. Most of the time, you've followed my videos, I do the sky first. Once in a while, I don't. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just what I feel like. If I'm looking to get something else in first, or if I'm looking to do something, it doesn't really matter. You just do whatever feels right for you. When you get the sky in first, if you don't have a sketch, you're going to have to wipe off some of the sky and then put in other elements. If you do the sky like we're doing now, you got to cut around different things. It's really whatever your preference is. This one, I got into the little hills and the little shack early and figured, okay, I'll just get the sky whenever. And then, as you see me do in other paintings, don't be afraid to tip it over, turn it over. Make it easier for yourself to gauge where you are, especially when you're cutting in around stuff. You use whatever advantage you need. Turning your canvas upside down is not illegal. It's not an issue. Nobody's going to think badly of you for doing it. Right over here, I'm giving it a little extra time because I want to blend that hill into the sky so it's not a real hard edge. Just a little bit of one so you can see a difference, but I don't want it pronounced like the middle ones. And then there we go. We've got a nice little area going here. It's a pretty good block in of the top half of the canvas. And then I think the next thing I'm going to do is the trees. Yeah, I actually forgot about it. It was a little earlier. I wasn't sure exactly what my routine was for doing it. Yeah, this weekend we went, my wife and I, on a bowling outing on Saturday night. And it was a fundraiser for a lady she works with. Her grandson has cerebral palsy. Elliot, I believe, is 4 years old. And it was a bowling and raffle and dinner and everything else to raise money for him to get a special bicycle that helps him with his muscles and stuff. So we had a great time. I hadn't bowled in, my goodness, 25, 30 years, something like that. My wife's only bowled twice in her life. But considering we haven't bowled in a while, and we didn't really care about the score, we were just having fun with everybody. It was a really good time. Had some good food, and a lot of the people I met where she works for the first time, and they were real nice. So it was a lot of fun. Okay, now here, and this is one of the things I wanted to mention today. I'm not using pure colors, and I've told you that in the past. I don't use just straight out of the tube, and that's the only thing I use. But sometimes I'll put it on my brush straight from the tube if what I'm painting it on is wet, like the roof that you just saw. Okay, that's alizarin crimson that I'm using, okay, which is a very dark red. But you can see how light it is because I made sure I blended it in, say that fast 5 times, with the wet color that was on already. And that's why it lightened it up and makes it look a lot better. So you can do it in many different ways, but you always want to have at least some blends. I'm not really a believer in straight tube color, and that's it the way it is. Okay, another great example of it is with the hills, too, with the highlights and stuff. Hills, mountains, rocks, anything with highlights. You can put pure white on your brush, which normally I don't. And the pure white is okay as long as you blend it in a little bit and pick up the color that it's going over. Now these I'm going to take a little bit extra time with because I wanted to make sure I get the shadows really nice. And the shadows are a combination of French ultramarine, titanium white, and just a hair of alizarin crimson to give it a kind of cool looking shadow touch. And that's what I'm doing now. You see, it's a little more bluish, but I only have a touch of alizarin crimson because I wanted to kill the blue. Because blue is very strong. The French ultramarine is a very strong color. So I wanted to have the blue feel to it, but not, in your face blue. So I'm putting in the shadows now, and then I'll redefine and brighten up the highlights a little bit as soon as I'm done with the shadows. And then I'll readjust the shadows afterwards. That's kind of how I model my rocks and my mountains and stuff like that. And I don't know if I mentioned it or not. This is a 14 by 18 stretched canvas. And I've got 3 more 14 by 18 stretch canvases. Then I've got like 10 or 12 8 by 10s. And when those are done, I believe I'm done with canvas. I recently started using hardwood. And to be exact, I'm using the gesso board from Ampersand, and I love it. I've never had my art look better. It was a little bit of a, I don't want to say a challenge, but you did have to kind of get used to it a little bit because it is totally different than painting on stretch canvas. For one, your colors stay on top, they don't absorb in at all. And two, it's a little slicker. Even though it has a little bit of a texture to it, it doesn't have anywhere near the texture that a canvas does. So you have to use a little bit more paint, which actually makes the colors more vibrant and lush and stuff. So what I'm going to do is once I feel a little more comfortable painting on the hardwood, I'm going to start making my videos with those. But like I said, I've got quite a few canvases left I'm going to finish and use. But I'm going to introduce for you guys to show you how I use them and everything else probably in another week or so. And I tell you what, they're a blast. And it's funny too because the ampersand ones are museum quality. They're archival. And I thought normally you get them at like Dick Blick and stuff. But Hobby Lobby has the flat panels, the 1/8 inch of the museum quality, the archival ones. And they're very reasonable. I mean, they don't have sales on them, but you know, a 9x12 is like $7. And for the, like I said, the 1/8 inch one without a cradle. And that's where I got them from to start with to see if I'd even like them. I didn't want to, you know, shell out a whole bunch of money. And I tell you what, I absolutely love them. I don't know what I was thinking all these years by not trying them, but I'm glad I tried them now. Okay, right now we've got the little bit of a river going in here. And this is French ultramarine, just a hair of phthalo green, and a little bit of alizarin crimson. And you notice I'm going pretty fast, and I got the video sped up too, but I'm using the side of my brush going side to side. I'm not using the whole wide flat side. And the reason I'm doing that is to get into the canvas a little bit more and spread the paint. But as you notice, I'm leaving a lot of lighter areas and darker areas, okay? And that's just to have, if you look at any body of water, it's going to have different shades of whatever the basic color of that water is. It's not all going to be the same stagnant color, usually. Okay, now I'm using the side of the brush again, and I'm just adding the titanium white, but I'm doing it, I'm not pushing hard, but a little bit firmer than normal to blend it with the colors underneath. And you can see the dark is where the alizarin crimson is and this phthalo green. And now I'm going to put in a little bit of tapping waves with the fan brush. Now this is something I picked up from Stuart Davies. I've mentioned him several times in my videos. This is how he does clouds. He doesn't tap them in like that, but he uses a palette knife. But I used the same idea. So I'm tapping in where I want waves and stuff, but I don't like that look, okay? So what I'm going to do then is take a dry brush, bristle brush, and then lightly just move the paint around to get all the hard edges out and make everything really soft. You see how that softens it up? Now, again, you can't tell in a video, but it's very, very light pressure. I'm not, putting it real hard into the canvas at all. I just want to move the paint, and as you can see, get rid of all those hard edges and just make it soft. And that's something I do in my clouds now, which is where he does it, and then I also do it in my water, depending on what look I want for the water. Okay, this foreground looks pretty dark, and that's because it is. This is blue-black, which is a tube color from Lucas 1862. It's a really cool color. It's a nice dark that kind of replaces a Payne's Gray, if you ask me. A little darker than Payne's Gray. I got phthalo green with it, alizarin crimson, and if I'm not mistaken, I got just a little bit of the raw sienna in it too. And I've got this down over the whole thing because I'm going to lighten it up a little bit after I put in the reeds and little flowers and stuff. They're going to be on the front bank of the river here. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just lifting up. I've got a little bit more medium on my brush to make the paint a little more fluid. And I'm just lifting straight up to get all those pretty little reeds up. And then I'm going to take the corner of my brush and put the little flowers in there. And this is a way of making wildflowers that I found out. I don't want to take credit for it. I want to say I saw it somewhere. I just don't remember where I saw it from, who he or she was that did it. But it's something I really enjoy doing for flowers. And it really comes out pretty nice, as you can see. It makes them a nice separation. I'm not tapping hard. I'm just putting like at the edge of that 2-inch brush that you see in my hand and just kind of putting it on there. And you can put whatever you want for colors. I used, in this one, a little bit of alizarin with yellow, lemon yellow, and now I'm adding a little bit of white ones in there all over the place to kind of break it up a little bit. Again, you don't want the same exact color, scheme, symmetry, or whatever in a painting. You want to break things up a little bit and make it a little more, even if you're doing somewhat realistic, you still want a little bit of an impressionistic look with things, especially in nature, because nature is all over the place. It's hard to take a ruler and be able to measure something perfectly straight. I don't know if there's a perfectly straight tree that exists. Maybe, but I haven't seen it. And now I'm just tapping in a little bit of yellow and a little bit of the French ultramarine. And I have the alizarin crimson in the top there that I'm placing the white on now. And now it's just a matter of just little different highlights. I'm tapping in little white flowers here and there to go with it. And like I told you at the beginning of this video, it's just a real simple painting. It's some basic elements, nothing major. And it's something that anybody can learn to do with a little bit of practice. It doesn't take a lot of paint. It doesn't take a lot of skill. It just takes a little bit of dedication to do it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did and you want to see more, please hit my subscribe button. I'm at 83 subscribers now. I could not believe it. When I first started this channel, I didn't think I'd get 5, let alone 83, so I'm thrilled with that. And then hit that little bell to notify you every time I upload a video. I hope everybody has a great work week, and I will talk to you later. Bye.